Now it's not perfect, but I've got plenty of room to get the Forester inside and lots of extra space to get the engine crane out in front of it. So what's up everyone? Obviously I have the Forester inside and the garage is relatively cleaned up. So I'm ready to start pulling the engine out. We're doing head gaskets and clutch, resealing everything. Gonna make this into a short series of videos. Let's just get started. Now this is an EJ251 engine. I have never really done anything to this other than a tune-up. So I put on ignition wires and spark plugs. And I mean, that was so long ago that the fuel filter is actually starting to rust. It's been in there for so long. There is lots of corrosion built up on all the aluminum from sitting around, and some other spots that probably need to be addressed, especially underneath the battery. That battery tray has rotted really bad, and when I get the engine out, I'm going to need to do some serious cleaning underneath that battery. So I'm just going to start by draining the fluids. Here you can get a really good idea, like the valve covers are leaking, the head gaskets are leaking on both sides, and then possibly there's even a rear main seal leak. So I did grab a rear main seal. Figured, you know, there's no chance I'm going to pull the engine and not replace that. So let's get this oil cracked. I think I got my mileage out of that one. I have this much larger pan for collecting coolant, and it's actually an old cat litter box that I took in this feral cat into my old apartment, and it just did not work out. So but I ended up keeping the litter box just because I figured I would be using it for this reason. Up here you can just see a little drop of coolant, and it looks like that water pump might just be starting to seep a tiny little bit. It's a good thing I've got one. Now normally when I'm dropping this much coolant, I will go straight to the lower hose and just let it go. It looks like this clamp is not going to cooperate. Yeah. Now for something like this, all I've done is taken my cutoff wheel and just put two little snips in the sides of those bands. And with some prying and grabbing, all of that should just come off. Alternatively, you could just take out those two 10mm bolts and take off the whole neck off the bottom of the water pump and then deal with this afterwards, but I find it just as easy to do it now. Hopefully I didn't get the camera. Let that sit and drain for a little while. We will not be reusing this coolant. Usually while I'm still under here, I'll go ahead and take off the exhaust manifold, so it's just these three 14mm nuts on both sides. They often wind out the studs. It's just something that you're going to have to deal with. With the exhaust manifold loose, I'll just take the 14mm right over onto the engine mount and take off the nuts for them as well. And then one last thing while I'm down here is I go ahead and get these fan connections. I will say the lift makes a big difference working underneath. I didn't even need to jack it up. Now with everything underneath pretty much finished, I'm just going to start working on the top and getting all the loose stuff out of the way, like this air box and the air cleaner. Pull the battery out. The radiator should be able to come out pretty easy at this point and start disconnecting the AC and the fuel lines. And just kind of pick away at it and get closer down to the engine.
I could be the one you talk to when you're feeling down. I could be the one you run to when the moon hits the ground. I can say what I'm feeling, but the words just don't come out. If you ever feel lonely, girl, just know I'll come around. 'Cause I've traveled so far just to get to where you are. And I know that you're broken, but that makes you who you are. So pick up the pieces and show me you mean it tonight. I know what you're feeling, I see that look in your eyes. So pick up the pieces and show me you mean it tonight. 'Cause what I've been dreaming is giving you my paradise.
Without spending a whole lot of time, most of the stuff surrounding the engine is out of the way. You may want to have a look at what's going on over here. Now I knew this was heavily corroded, but I didn't realize how bad it actually was. Some of this is really thick, and usually this corner is where it goes through first, and there is actually a little crack started there. So I've got a lot of work to clean that up eventually. But I am ready to move on to more of the hookup stuff, like the AC lines, the fuel lines, the throttle cables, the electrical needs to be undone. So that's where I'm going next.
So pick up the pieces and show me you mean it tonight. I know what you're feeling, I see that look in your eyes. So pick up the pieces and show me you mean it tonight. 'Cause what I've been dreaming is giving you my paradise. So pick up the pieces. So pick up the pieces. So pick up the pieces and show me you mean it tonight. I know what you're feeling, I see that look in your eyes. So pick up the pieces and show me you mean it tonight. 'Cause what I've been dreaming is giving you my paradise.
Well, I've got some of that nonsense taken care of. The alternator, the electrical connector for it, this green guy down here, it was just welded on, and no matter how hard I was prying on the release and prying up on the clip, I mean, it took a little bit of gouging on the backside here to finally free it up. But the same thing basically over here in the back with the bulkhead connectors. The bulkheads weren't too difficult to get apart, but the front O2 sensor connector would not release off this bracket, and I needed to get it off of there because it's part of the vehicle's harness. And I eventually just ended up having to take this whole bracket off, twist it around, and then start beating on it with a hammer, finally to crack it free. And you could see the amount of rust has obviously swollen out enough to trap it on there. I'm just going to keep moving forward. I'm going to pop off this clutch sleeve and get it out of the way. It doesn't need to come off right now, but I'm going to be changing it anyway, so I might as well take it off. The heater hoses. The clamps look pretty good down here, so I shouldn't have too much of a problem getting those off. And then get the starter out of the way, and then I'll be ready to get those bell housing nuts and bolts out of the way and finally get this thing plucked out of here. Oh, and this mount.
Holding your hand, fighting for the things that we want. Be the rock you lean on, with you by my side. Baby, when we fall, together we'll rise. 'Cause I've traveled so far just to get to where you are. And I know that you're broken, but that makes you who you are. So pick up the pieces and show me you mean it tonight. I know what you're feeling, I see that look in your eyes. So pick up the pieces and show me you mean it tonight. 'Cause what I've been dreaming is giving you my paradise. So pick up the pieces, pick up the pieces, pick up the pieces. So pick up the pieces.
Now, I used to be able to pluck these out in about an hour and a half on the hoist in a shop, but I've at least like doubled or tripled that time at home. But it's out on the floor, and nothing gave me any really serious issues. A lot of times when these sit in there for that long, the bell housing really likes to hold on to the transmission and not let go. But I kind of debate this clutch has been done before. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll get a better look at that in the next episode. I'm just going to leave it there for now, because I do have to set up my engine stand and at least get the clutch off of it so I can set it on there. And well, for the Forester, it's a whole other story. Oh, that light went dead. We've got some serious rot over on this side. Like, it's a lot more serious than what I thought it was. And with the engine in the vehicle and just being hugged up so tight here, I mean, with all the cabling and hoses and everything, it's really hard to dig your hand in down here. But so this is some serious rotting. But this hole is actually supposed to be there. It's a grommet hole, but you can just see the amount of material that's been flaking off here and the depth that it's going to. So I am going to have to do some serious cleaning in here, and likely even weld in some angle or something just to reinforce it a little better. The sidewall isn't probably relatively strong enough shape, but I mean, you can see it's in there deep. I actually thought the cradle was in a lot worse condition, but it's really good. It's been well oiled, that's for sure. Over on this side, things are really clean. Just clean up some of those brackets and everything else underneath of here. So as you can see, I've got a lot more work ahead of me. Having the engine out is biggest step number one. Now I can concentrate on just getting it apart and doing the head gaskets. I'll get it all wrapped up, kind of put over to the side, and then I can concentrate on what else I need to do to the Forester. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here and you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button for me. Leave your questions and comments further down below, and I'll see you in the next one.